What's good, Marissa? Welcome to the Chris College Show, Millennial Talk Show. Good morning, Marissa. How's it going, fam?
As usual, fabuloso.
Hey, you know what's good. We want to start this off at the top of the show. We usually do on this day, but there is a very special person that's very much involved in this show, and that is the one and only co-host, Marissa Pitts. And you have a birthday coming up on
I
Tuesday, so I wanted
do.
to kind of surprise you a little bit and do a little bit of a pre-birthday celebration shout out because this show for 3 years now wouldn't be possible with this amazing cat right here. So I am just so blessed to have you a part of this show. And let's let the CCS family know what's good. Let's get it off. So, like on this day, 2 years ago, The Mandalorian premiered, bringing us all new faith in the Star Wars universe. And I know it's Disney Plus Day as well. So there is some amazing new stuff that you're gonna have to check out after the show. But also on this day in 1968, one of my favorite albums of all time, Jimi Hendrix's third album, Electric Ladyland, is released. And we've got a great show for everybody that's tuning in for the Chris College Show, Millennial Talk Show, because our guest on Just Talking is Vescio. He is an actor in See You Next Christmas. It is a millennial rom-com out now on all digital platforms. And also, don't forget to check out our brand new podcast series called Off the Fret. More music talk, out now wherever you listen to podcasts. But all right, Marissa, it's time to rock and roll. This is hashtag TLDR, too long don't read. Marissa and I, we did all the reading for you so you didn't have to do it. In an article from the Wall Street Journal titled, What Happened at Travis Scott's Astroworld Concert by Anthony DeRosa. As someone who's seen over 200 plus bands live, I've never seen anything of this extent in the modern era. And my first reaction is, everyone wants to immediately place the blame on Travis Scott because he encourages his fans to jump on stage and start a mosh pit, which is no different from the punk and heavy metal culture today. But ask yourself this, why did Live Nation, the world's largest concert promoter, not have their stage managers pull the plug on the show, shutting down the music and turning the lights on after the anarchy erupted? I mean, how are the event producers this fucking stupid to not see the obvious red flag? A police car is blaring its sirens in the middle of the pit and fans are jumping on stage screaming to stop the show because people are dying. I mean, seeing the photos of the concert layout online, I don't know how anyone could have possibly approved this schematic. Live Nation packed fans into a cage-like enclosure with exit points and medical personnel that were not immediately accessible. So in the fallout of this event, this isn't going to stop me from attending concerts in the future, but if there's anything that we've learned from this event, never assume that event producers will look out for you. Find the exits before every live event that you go to in the future and mark out a location in the venue so you can link up with your peers who you possibly maybe have lost in the middle of, let's say, a mosh pit or a crowd surge. Do your part and please be safe when you attend your next live event.
And my condolences going out to the families rocked by the tragedy at Astroworld concert and the loss of life. And as Chris just stated, we can't rely on event producers to make sure we, as concert goers, are safe. And having a heavier police slash security force at concert doesn't mean that a crowd surge won't happen. So in an
Absolutely.
article, right? And in an
Absolutely.
article from NPR titled 8 Tips to Follow If You're Trapped in a Crushing Crowd by Bill Chappell. 1, keep your eyes open for danger signs. 2, leave as soon as you sense the crowd getting too dense. 3, stay standing and don't put a backpack on the ground. 4,
Yeah.
lack of oxygen is the killer in crowds, so preserve space around your chest. 5, don't push, move with the crowd. 6, avoid walls and solid objects. 7, learn to detect crowd density. And 8, if a crowd gets unsafe, look out for others. And out of all of these tips, preserving the space around your chest for oxygen by keeping your hands about shoulder height and elbows up, it allows for your ribcage to expand the millimeter necessary for shallow breathing to keep you alive. and moving with the crowd are paramount to one's continued safety and survival in a situation like this. I mean, Chris, what have you done at concerts to get away from a dangerous situation with large crowds?
Yeah, as much as this might sound funny, this is the best way to paraphrase this. I mean, we all just saw that People's Magazine just named Paul Rudd as the sexiest man alive. And I don't know if you saw his skit with Stephen Colbert where he's sticking his ass out almost as if he's like, he's like modeling his ass. I might be able to get away with it just because I'm 6'5", but I'm telling you right now, if there's a guy or a girl that's behind you and you're sticking your ass out as far as you can, that is the best way to make room at a concert because realistically, nobody wants to grind up on a dude, guy or girl, okay? So that is one way to open up the chest. And Marissa, you're absolutely right. That is the biggest key thing out of going to 200 plus concerts live. You got to move with the crowd. If the crowd's moving right, you got to flow right because naturally the crowd will sway back to normal because everybody's going to eventually fall on their ass at one point. So just please recognize those exit points. If you're dehydrated, I think that's another thing that they're missing out. If you're dehydrated in the middle of a big crowd, leave. Go get hydrated. I mean, we all know at those kind of events like Astroworld, there's probably some good weed out there, and you're maybe breathing it. Maybe you're not familiar with that smell, and maybe that can enclose your chest as well if you're not used to those kind of environments. So if you're dehydrated and you're feeling like your legs are giving out, step aside. There's always a good venue at every place.
And I also think it's really important too, if like when I was younger and started going to punk shows at 12, 13, I was told this stuff by my elders in there about, hey, how to protect myself, what is that like jumping from a stage, how to do it. And that's also responsibility of anybody taking somebody who is their first concert, or if you're a parent and you're letting your 14 or 15-year-old go to this, having that conversation with them so that in that situation, our amygdala clicks in, it's fight, flight, or freeze. And if you already have a game plan of how to work through that, that's going to make it really easy also.
Well, I guess I could end it off on a final note. Chester Bennington from Linkin Park, God rest his soul, and Corey Taylor from Slipknot, they have been such huge advocates at every show saying, if you see someone fall, what do? You pick them up. Okay? That should always be the motive at every single concert. It's not about you. It's about everybody. It's one big family, and we're all trying to enjoy the event just as much as the person right next to you.
That's right. So stay safe and aware, and don't trust event promoters or producers to keep you and your loved ones safe.
We've got a hot girl summer to, I've said we've got. No, we don't. We've gone from hot girl summer to no nut November. And an article from the New York Post titled "Single Men Just Don't Care About Sex Anymore, Study Finds" by Alex Mitchell. So according to a study published by Match, 81% of single men said sex is now less important than it was for them in pre-pandemic times. So it's not to say that the horizontal hokey pokey is no longer on the minds of single men, but it takes a backseat to newfound priorities in both relationships and love. And there's no denying that porn brings beautiful women instantaneously in the palm of your hands, but Marissa, this might show a sign of the times because maybe men value a relationship and are more focused on looking for those long-term stability in a partner. I mean, what do you think about all of this? Is this kind of alarming for you?
Actually, it's not, because very interesting news coming out. Guess what millennials are going through right now that they're stating, and they figured it out by pregnancy tests, is a millennial baby boom. So I'm actually not surprised that men are now looking to nest and find that special person to breed and copulate. You're hitting that time, but yeah.
I think maybe single men are just not having sex because if you were having a millennial boom when it comes to pregnancy, maybe they're getting a little scared of seeing the peers around them that are the same age and going, "Oh my God, I'm 28. I'm not even supposed to have a kid yet.
No,
like this is crazy."
No. See, I think what it is they're not looking for the casual sex anymore. So they're not having as much sex because they're waiting for that special person. And then when they find that special person, they're raw dogging.
Well, all I know is
still keep it wrapped up.
I hear you, Marissa. I think that's a fair assessment. But all I can say is the best long-term stability will always be porn. It's at the palm of your hand. So if you're always feeling left out, you'll always have that outlet. But all in all, this newfound dating culture, one which sees men desiring more wholesome connections with both themselves and their partners, gives me faith in humanity for our generation. What's good, listeners? Our guest on Just Talking is actor Vescio to discuss his award-winning holiday film, See You Next Christmas, live on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show. As he connects that audio, gets his video stream on, we will let him know what's good. Vin, how you doing, my man? Look at you in the holiday spirit. You have no shame celebrating Christmas in November.
Yes, the ugly Christmas sweater. I love it.
He's got the ugly Christmas sweater rocking.
It has your name on it?
Right here. Yep.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, did your mom make that?
My girlfriend Lauren makes me one every year.
Okay, I was about to say, did your mom make it? But now we know it's your girlfriend Lauren. Amazing. I love it.
Well, obviously you are in this kind of relationships, and obviously, you know, you got to promote a film, See You Next Christmas. But are you that kind of individual that watches Christmas in July?
I am not. It's sort of a tug of war in the house of when we can start Christmas, which I know is a popular argument. But I'm a let's let Thanksgiving happen.
Okay, preach it.
That's me too. That's me. It's the day after Thanksgiving is when you are allowed, because you have off that day, allowed to bring out your Christmas lights. You're allowed to bring out the tree or go buy the tree or whatever that is and get it ready. But please,
let's just butter the turkey first before we start getting into those kind of Christmas celebrations. But before we begin, let's show the CCS family what's good. I'm going to have Marissa go ahead and play the teaser now of See You Next Christmas.
Tom, what's your diagnosis for me?
I would say soulmate.
Oh, sometimes you just know.
Bet no guy is ever good enough for you.
Do you ever let anyone in?
Hello, Natalie. I thought you'd be impressed that I remembered your name.
Come on in.
Welcome to the family. You locked that down quick.
Already let her get away once in high school.
Adler is Natalie's fiance.
You ghosted me.
What if there's an explanation?
You should have at least called me. You messed it up.
You think we'll have this party forever?
Yeah, of course. We have thrown this party for the last 7 years. People look forward to it. It's special.
So you gotta love it. That is See You Next Christmas. And Vin, I mean, is this a tale of love and missed opportunities? I mean, is this a fair way to put it?
Boy, you hit the nail right on the head there. That's exactly what it is.
And you love it for that, because I know you play the husband Tom alongside triple threat writer, director, and actress Christine Weatherup, which, bless her soul, I know she just got pregnant.
She's been pregnant. She's giving birth, if not already has.
As you can tell, I'm a single guy in the holidays, okay?
You're doing your best.
Doing my best, you know. I need to start attending some of these Clark.
Because he doesn't know where babies still come from. He still thinks it comes from a stork.
I thought it comes from the toy store. You just pick up your doll. No, I'm just kidding.
A beautiful stork flies in and lands all the babies where they belong.
The wonderful things about the holiday
Unless you're
season.
Dumbo. And then you're going to end up with the wrong mommy.
Right, exactly.
Right, that happens.
But from first impression, this film feels so relatable, especially since we're all slowly getting back together after this pandemic. And what's your advice for surviving those awkward holiday parties?
It's tough. It really depends on what type of party you're at. If you're at a party where you know everybody and it's familiar and you can kind of be yourself and be comfortable, that's great. That's one.
And being comfortable, is it rocking an ugly Christmas sweater, or is it always having a glass in hand? Or is it both?
I I wouldn't know. I don't really have any ugly Christmas sweaters. I have beautiful normal Christmas sweaters, and that's kind of all I have.
So that was
Ben's trying to get laid tonight.
Yeah, Vin's trying to get laid by his girlfriend tonight, so he's got to play it real cool. But when it came to that,
I can't.
But when it comes to the reference of Clarkmas, was that where did that come from? I kind of have an idea.
So Christine and her husband Matt, who also produced the film, they would have a Christmas party every year. So the basis of having the party where they see everyone at least once a year and they come together and they kind of, are at different stages in their life comes from their real life Christmas parties that they have. So that kind of morphed into our characters are named Clark. So the Clarkmas came from that, but it was a real life party that they have every year.
FYI, I was right.
Yeah, you were right. I mean, some of us were thinking it was maybe. Some of us were kind of thinking it was a reference to National Lampoon. That's what we were thinking because of Clark, so that's what we were kind of thinking behind the scenes.
Just read the characters' names.
But okay, fine, Marissa, fine. Okay, you win this time around. But
I like
Vin,
to keep thinking. I actually think there is something to that. I'm not 100%, but I think there was a little vacation wink in the name.
Okay, see, I get a little bit of salt.
Hey, you are like the best, even in the movie and who you are such the good middleman of like negotiating and making everybody happy. Like, kudos.
Isn't that such a true point? And even your character, Tom, is that guy in the majority of the film. And often holiday parties can lead to these awkward conversations. And, how do you save yourself from, becoming or looking like the Grinch at a holiday party? Because, I mean, I need your advice because, all the times, when the holiday season comes up, I'm always trying to navigate these awkward conversations with your weird uncle, possibly your boring cousin, or that like too enthusiastic old friend. So what are some of those advices to get out of those kind of tricky situations?
Well, I feel like if it's a family thing and you have to go to it, that's one thing. But I think like budgeting your time and what you actually want to be at. So if it's a party that you're going to because you feel like you have to, maybe you can skip that, especially now when our time is so precious. And I know like.
But what if you have no choice to engage? What if you have no choice? Like, with me, for example, I always have that like one aunt that's always wondering, like, well, hey, Chris, what's going on with your sex life? And it's like, what's wrong with just saying I'm single, I'm not ready to mingle, and like, how do you tell them that I'm just not interested in dating? I mean, do you have any advice? I know you have a thing going on, but I'm sure did you have those kind of feelings at one point, or is it just me?
For sure. And Chris, I do want to know what's going on with your sex life, but we can do that later or as a separate thing. But I think you can just kind of, know that you build yourself an exit strategy or, have something ready to go so you can kind of pivot that conversation to something you actually want to talk about.
Okay, exit strategy. Because for me, and I'm sure other females have encountered this, that uncle that married into the family that then hits on you when you're over 18 is beyond awkward, and it's always about the exit strategy. So you could be like, okay, drunk uncle, bye.
What it sounds like, though, Marissa, I could be wrong, but I'm hearing Vin, and he sounds like, just from after filming See You Next Christmas, you sound like you know what it takes to host a Christmas party on your own. Have you thought about that in the future, and will you be having your own type of Clarkmas?
For sure, yeah. I think a big part of that, and with any party, is curating what groups of friends or people that you're inviting that are going to get along naturally, and you don't have to worry about like different groups with different vibes, and then there being awkward situations where people are stuck talking to people they don't want to talk to.
And we learned no hot apps. And don't invite the late relative who always comes late to bring the appetizers.
That's so true.
Yeah.
You will be hungry.
Listen, you can't rely on anyone. You got to just put down what you're willing to put down. And if it's a hot app, I think it's a wrong move.
But Ben, let's talk about you as the actor, because I know acting is at its simplest, the attempt to most accurately and authentically portray the experience of someone who is not you. But how did you approach this role? Are you just playing you?
It's definitely a version of me. I think the advantage of this was it was all shot chronologically. So year one is, the first week or whatever of shooting and so on. So I think as the shoot went on, as we all got more comfortable with each other, and as I got more comfortable, it lended itself to showing up on screen of everybody's kind of chemistry. And certainly with AJ and Liz, same situation where they didn't know each other and they met right before shooting. So as they kind of connected and built a relationship as friends, as actors, it kind of showed up on screen too. So for me, I think that was helpful to be able to build something on the shoot as it went.
Yeah, that's amazing. And
I did a great job.
You guys all did a great job. I mean, it's a great millennial rom-com. But focusing on just you for a little bit. Besides the See You Next Christmas, what got you into acting?
I was a really shy kid and had no aspirations to do anything of the sort. And I moved out to LA and I was, doing the move to LA thing. And I was a PA on a bunch of different things. And I ended up, there was a sketch on a live show with George Wendt from Cheers and Second City.
Nice.
And the person that was going to do the sketch couldn't do it, and last minute I jokingly was like, I'll do it. I used to bartend. I can jump in there. And they were like, you should. You want to audition? And I was like, no. Totally kidding. I have no interest. And they made me audition, and then they gave it to me, and then I got to improvise with George Wendt, and it was so fun, and I was so relaxed, and it came kind of naturally. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm going to dip my toe into this. And I started doing improv and sketch and all that here in LA. And
I don't think I've heard of such an intriguing story of that nature when it comes to acting. Most of them are just like, I was a child star. My mom saw something in my eyes, they glow nice with the ring light. But no, you actually fell into it kind of accidental. And let me just say, Vin, you did an amazing job playing Tom. And, I kind of want to switch this up just a little bit, kind of talk a little industry talk, since you kind of went there a little bit talking about PA.
My mom saw nothing in my eyes.
Saw nothing in your eyes.
No. She's like, go be corporate, honey. Go be corporate.
But Vin, I'm curious. I mean, when is the last time you went to the movies?
I went to the movies last night.
You went to the movies? What did you see?
Okay, well, all right. So I saw, this is so stupid, but I saw Sylvester Stallone recut Rocky IV and did a screening, and I went and saw that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty cool. And I mean, the reason that I bring this up is millennials are the serial killers of our times. Before the pandemic, 18% of millennials reported going to the movies weekly, and 27% reported going monthly. And it's important to note that our generation is the highest percentage out of any of the age groups, right? So we are the generation that invented Netflix and chill. And will the movie theater experience be the same? I mean, you were there last night. I mean, you were at a private screening, not necessarily a public screening, but did you feel like that overall feeling of getting inside the movie theater again and just viewing it as a whole with the listening audience? Is it back? Does it feel the same to you?
I will preface and say it was.
There was a long sigh before you just said that.
Stallone. I wish. No, but I think me personally, I have always been crazy about going to the movies. I love going to the movies. I think it's magic. And so I hope when COVID is kind of in the rearview mirror, at least the best we can, I hope it'll be back. I think I had the pleasure of watching See You Next Christmas twice in the theater, and it's and I love TV, and there's so much great TV, and I really I get that there's so much out there you can do at home.
But I guess,
selfishly-
because you just went there with COVID, and I think that's, I guess that's somewhat of a fair point. But let me share this with you, because compared to baby boomers, older audiences have more concerns about indoor public settings, given that COVID becomes more dangerous the older you get. But that's not necessarily the case for millennials. So with that being said, why do you think millennials are having theater hesitancy?
Well, if we're taking COVID out of it, I think it's just there's so much available at home, and there's so much great stuff available at home that it's very easy to just get into a show, and you're watching it at home for free or for $8 a month or whatever. It's just too easy to stay home.
Have you fallen into that trap? I know for myself, I got a big old 60-inch TV in my living room. I don't necessarily want to go anywhere, but I did want to kind of share this because this was kind of big news yesterday that dropped on the Wall Street Journal, because Stacy Spikes, the co-founder of MoviePass, that movie theater ticket subscription service that became a sensation. Remember, of the summer of 2017, and then before it collapsed in epic fashion for Marissa and a lot of the other peers that got ahead and grabbed those cards. But will this win back millennials to go back to the theater, or do you think it's not going to do anything?
That's tough to say. I remember at the time kind of hearing that MoviePass was actually not great for the movie theaters because it cut into...
Well, it's very little no money. They wanted like $50 a month.
Didn't like it, but I saw more movies that summer.
Sure.
I'm cheap.
I think
I don't want to spend like $40 on a movie where someone is probably going to cough or like talk.
But what do you think, though, Vin? What you were about to say something? What do you think?
Well, I also think the concessions are a big thing. So if people are in the theaters buying concessions, that's a thing. But I think it's good timing. Like if
but don't you think But don't you think it also depends on the movies, given the increase in sales for tickets, like Marissa sort of stated? I mean, is it kind of the quality of film? Like, we're starting to compare films to Netflix, and it's like, the only time we want to go to the theater nowadays, it seems like, is for the Eternals or James Bond. You're not going to go and see that normal indie film anymore. Do you think it's because remakes and sequels are possibly ruining this kind of theater experience?
That's tough. I think, there's.
I guess we'll ask yourself this: what gets you to go to the theater?
Very little. Very little. I'll go for whatever. But I think, I also love a bad remake or a sequel or, a Marvel thing. But I think like the cinephiles that used to go see, the $20 million, kind of Oscar baity stuff.
But I mean, there's so many good stories out there today, but why does Hollywood continue to dole out junk, if you know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody's trashing the Eternals. It just goes to prove that you can be an Academy Award-winning director and still tank a blockbuster film. So what's it going to take to get the millennials to go in? Myself personally feels like when you continue to do these remakes, you continue to do these sequels, and you become unoriginal, and you don't bring in some of that new storytelling with inclusion and diversity with the arts, I think that's what's going to ultimately tank the Regal theaters and AMC. What do you am I right, or do you think I'm onto something, or do you think I'm like way off?
That's totally fair. It's as the new generations come up and what they've come up with, it's catering to a lot of different people's kind of draw to go to the theaters, where it used to just be, there was 5 new movies out a weekend, or not even.
Yeah.
And everyone would just go see whatever was out. And now you can see a great Oscar movie on Amazon. And so it feels like the only people that are going to theaters might be for the big blockbustery ones. And then, I don't
Yeah,
know what the
because like
answer is.
personally with myself, I don't know about you, Marissa. I think the only time I'm actually excited to get to the movie theaters like anytime soon is possibly in March when Robert Pattinson goes to reprise the Batman just because it's so dark and creepy. I cannot wait for that. But it's not. Oh, hey, there we go. Christmas stories with Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. I love it. That is so funny. But Vin, you have been so amazing, my man. And where can the CCS family watch See You Next Christmas today?
It's available on iTunes. It's available on Amazon and probably other cool streaming places I'm not hip enough to know about.
Hey, we all know the drill. Go press in that google.com, google.com, type in See You Next Christmas. You will find this film on all kinds of streaming services. Vin, thank you again for joining the Chris College Show Millennial Talk Show. And I'm already feeling spirited, and I feel like that's a sin I'm breaking in November.
You're
Vin,
my first Christmas. Honestly, this was the first Christmas movie of the year for me. So thank you.
Wow.
That's true for me as well.
You got me
now that I think about it, that's so true. Vin, you're the man for
Into
that.
it early.
Exactly. Thank you,
Pre-Thanksgiving,
Calvin.
I got you.
Right,
Thank you
Vin.
so
Thank
much.
you again for joining the Chris College
right.
Show, Millennial Talk Show. Peace.
Take care. Thank you.
What's good, listeners? We're going to do something a little different today because we have a brand new music podcast coming out real soon on Off the Fret. More music talk. And joining us for our second Off the Fret music podcast is UK Southampton boys. They are the pop punk alt-press top 10 band that you have to look out for. It is Royals. They are an incredible group. And Marissa and I, we're excited to share an exclusive clip of our interview with Royals. And the clip that you're about to watch is Royals being asked the question: does the band rely heavily on streaming platforms as its top priority? So Marissa, if you're ready, let's have a listen. You know, you just referenced Spotify, Alex. So that's exactly where I'm about to go, especially when we're talking about this kind of industry talk, because there's no denying the mind-boggling amount of music being uploaded to streaming platforms such as Spotify. And I don't know if you guys know this, but over 60,000 tracks are uploaded every single day.
Wow.
60,000 tracks every single day. That's every 1.4 seconds, or if I just farted during this interview, there was a brand new song that just came out.
Bro,
I'm just saying.
I'm sorry. I hate fart anything. You have to throw it in there.
Exactly. And as we were just talking right now, a whole EP just dropped. I mean, that's insane. So I'm just saying, so like, does the band heavily rely on streaming platforms as its top priority? I mean, what do you guys think, Tom and Alex?
You have to these days, I think. Streaming's it's a blessing and a curse, like you say. You know, you're missing out on those days of seeing a video on MTV or something like that. But at the same time, you know, we don't have to stand outside a gig venue in the freezing cold handing out CDs like to get more listeners, because you can put music out there and someone halfway around the world might hear it and pick it up, and you can set up adverts to go to those. It's, yeah, you know, although you might not get as much money as you would from physical sales when you're a bigger artist, like, all we really care about is the listeners. And if we can reach more ears by, you know, getting on Spotify playlists or, you know, just reaching a wider audience that way, then it has to be a priority.
Yeah, I think if something's big, it'll be silly to not try and be on it. You know what I mean? We'll try and be on anything.
Let me throw you this, because there is a quote that's not very popular, I would say, with musicians in your guys' world. And the CEO of David Icke said, "You can't record music once every 3 to 4 years, and that's not going to be enough." Do you guys agree with that statement? Do you think that, like, you have to record music every 3 or 4 years to be a successful artist today?
I feel like with us, I also think, especially when you're starting up as well, it's your new fans will want to hear what you're going to do next. So I personally think but you shouldn't obviously rush things. So I would just think that you should just try and make as much music as you can. I think, like, also as well, if you have loads of really good ideas in your brain, you can't be like, but it's only been 3 or 4 years, so I've got to wait a little bit longer to record this, because it could be amazing. You know what I mean? It could be
right.
I think it's like, thing is, as soon as I get an idea and I'm like in the shops, I have to just run back home, get on my guitar, film it straight away, and as soon as I can get into my studio, then try and get it down and try and get to Luke straight away. You know what I mean? Like, if I get an idea in my head, I want it to be like heard as soon as possible. I couldn't just like have that but
Right.
I have to and force myself to wait so long just to record something. I think also as well, like, there's no such thing as like too much music from one person. If you're making things and people really like it, I think just keep going.
And I think that is such a great point, and you guys will be able to check out that full interview that's going to be dropping on our YouTube channel, which you are currently watching the live stream on, and also will be available for all our podcast listeners, because we don't want to discriminate against anybody. But before we play Royals' music video, Gone, Marissa and I, we wanted to spend a couple minutes again to kind of highlight one of the most tragic news that happened last Friday, because we kind of wanted to explain what's going on, because there's a lot of people that are asking the question, who is to blame for the deaths of the 9 people at the Astroworld concert last Friday? And Houston police have opened a criminal investigation, and concert goers have already filed more than 20 lawsuits against the event organizers and rapper Travis Scott, who continue to perform for more than a half an hour after officials declared mass casualty event. So again, who is to blame for the deaths of the 9 people at the Astroworld concert? And, personally with myself, as I said with the hashtag TLDR, I always like to say this kind of same comparison, just like how everybody was kind of discussing with Alec Baldwin when it came to the movie set on Rust, the film that tragically killed the cinematographer on set because, there was a live active gun. We hire these people called assistant directors for a film set, but we also hire people on music events called stage managers. And the responsibility of the stage manager is to make sure that everything is in cahoots with what's on stage, but also to look out for the artist, because the artist overall he's hired on a level to be an entertainer. And as much as Travis Scott is the co-founder of Astroworld, he hires people around him to make sure that the concert is safe. So the fact that I see a police car, sirens like blaring in the middle of this pit while Travis Scott, and let's not forget, Drake was on stage too, and I don't hear anybody saying Drake's name is possibly being a culprit in this situation, even though I don't think it's
he actually is. They're not talking about the news, but he is on the lawsuits.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show that, they have a barricade that goes right down the middle. And a lot of times they have the barricade right down the middle because they have the audio hardwire lines, to make sure that they can communicate with the towers in the distance compared to the guys on stage. So when you have all these red flags of people jumping on stage to a police car in the middle of a cage-like enclosure, how does nobody see the red flags? And there's going to be a lot of question on Live Nation. We can't go into this too much further because we want to be able to play, Royals music video right now. But for anybody out there that's kind of feeling hesitant about going to a concert, don't let this event stop you from attending live events. I mean, there's so many great musicians out there that are trying to make that revival, and don't make this scare you into going into these kind of type of events. But like I said before, don't think that the event producers are going to look out for you. Look out for yourself and recognize when danger is coming, and stay hydrated. But all right, Marissa, let's show the CCS family what's good by playing Royals music video, Gone, live on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show.
How many times will you do me wrong before I leave you gone, gone, gone? I'm better off alone. Can you look me in the eyes and tell me that you really tried? I see your heart's not in this like mine. Now I'm left here all alone. looking at my back till just so I must be dead. You made your bed, so sleep in it. You got me running round in circles, wishing I could get out, but I don't know how. And as the silence gets loud and the pressure keeps on building, the voice inside my head is asking, what should I believe in? My mind is racing, the fire is burning out. 200 hours on repeat, my head's filled with doubt. How many times will you tell me wrong before I leave you gone, gone, gone? Words were left unspoken, promises were broken. Now you're just gone, 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 and I'm better off alone. Don't know why I put up with your bullshit attitude, looking at me like you got something you wanna prove. I won't let you ride my way for free and just sail through. Now I'm asking if I really need you. How many times will you do me wrong before I leave you gone, gone, gone? How many times will you do me wrong before I leave you gone, gone, gone? Before I was left unspoken, promises were broken. Now you're just gone, 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 and I'm better off alone. I'm better off alone.
What's good, listeners? That was Royals, and that's their music video, Gone. And the reason we're sharing these music videos today is we're doing something a little bit different because we have a brand new music talk podcast.
Well, it is on video. It is on video.
It is close, right? I know, it kind of threw me off, though. It's not your typical music video, but it's a music talk video podcast. It's going to be coming later this week, next week, most likely. And we wanted to show you another exclusive clip from that interview because we had such a great time. And this is the Royals explaining the importance of music videos today. See where I was going with this? Let's roll the clip. One of the biggest things that I love about you guys that I don't see too many artists doing today is you guys have a music video for every single song off the brand new EP. Even when for Fair Weather Friend that we just watched right now, that's a quarantine music video. But I thought you guys put a very fun spin to it because
I like the spa. You're sitting in the spa.
Right, yeah. But I guess my biggest beef with up-and-coming bands, I mean like the bands that are in their first 5 years, it's like when you don't put out music videos like this, how are the listening audience supposed to put a voice to that face? It's kind of like radio nowadays. I mean, the millennial audience wants to see video on air production. So was something very important in the early stage of Royals to like go, we want to do this. This is the way to go moving forward in the 21st century.
Do you want to take it? You were there at the start. I was going to say that it was definitely a conscious decision, like with the EP. I mean, we've thought of that consciously to be like, yes, each song needs it. I mean, the amount of content you get from a video is such value for money as well, because you've got behind the scenes clips, you can cut it up for any different platform, you can reuse it, repost it. But if you don't have any of that, there's nothing visual to go along with the song other than the artwork.
And I think as well, when it's an album, it's a bit different because you usually with an album, it's like the single releases are the ones that have got videos. But when it comes to an EP, because there's not many on there, if we were having to pick which ones get videos, we're technically picking which ones we think are best, which is a route that I wouldn't want to go down. I think if we're picking which ones are best, then technically the ones that aren't best shouldn't be on there because we don't feel like they're best. So the fact that we think that they're all worthy of being on there, we should all do their justice and do music videos for them all. If that makes sense.
No,
it does. Because if you don't think the song is worth a video, then why is it even on your EP? Like that's the way I would look at things. Every song should be worthy of a music video. Otherwise, why have it on?
I mean, I grew up in the glory days of like Headbangers Ball and, and the MTV when they actually used to play music videos. So like I cherish watching those kind of music videos today. I mean, do you feel like there is somewhat of a disconnection when it comes to, the listening audience and music videos when it comes to the Gen Zs?
I mean, it's for one, it's really funny because I usually only do YouTube when obviously I'm watching stuff on my big TV, but like obviously if I'm out and about, if I'm driving, obviously I'm always going to play Spotify. So like I kind of at first was kind of when we first started doing this, I was thinking like, do we need to do a music video for everything? But as I've kind of like in a few years down the line got sort of more into like how all of this works, I just realized how kind of like important it is. Also as well, you got to think of it like a massive CV. Like, if you're trying to promote yourself by sending your stuff out to everyone, you don't really want to like send just like a Spotify link. They probably want to see you as well. So yep. I think music videos is the best representation of like when you're trying to send stuff out to people as well.
And you know what? I definitely want to highlight exactly what my amazing co-host Marissa Pitt said during that interview. I think it's such a unwritten rule that every up-and-coming artist needs to hear. If you're going to release an EP with, let's say, 3 to 4 to 5 songs, you better have visual representation with the record. Just saying, take notes from Royals, and we are going to show you guys their amazing music video. It's called Worldwide Catastrophe, live on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show.
Company, as we struggle to belong, how can we be strong? The only thing to pull me through is the fire in my heart and these pictures of you. Were we born to follow or made to lead? I'm not going down easy. There's got to be a better way than just to watch the world go down in flames. We could be the tidal wave. Can we right the wrongs we made and shine the light that leads the way? Will we pay for our mistakes and wash away the pain? Hold on tight, we will weather the storm. The darkest time comes before the dawn. We won't be defeated, the hopeless mistreated. Stand up and fight for what you love. There's got to be a better way than just to watch the world go down in flames. There's got to be a better way than just to watch the world go down in flames. We could be the tidal wave. Can we right the wrongs we made and shine the light that leads the way? Will we pay for our mistakes
Here we are. Sorry.
I was just about to jump in. I was like, and we're
Hey, you
back.
know the funny world about using two screens, just to kind of give the listeners, what's good. Sometimes you just lose your mouse pointer. You don't know where it went. But that was Royals. They're an incredible group, and that music video you just heard of was Worldwide Catastrophe. And Marissa and I, we want to share you guys another exclusive clip from our interview with the Royals on our brand new Off the Fret podcast coming out real soon. It's actually going to be dropping on Thanksgiving week, so keep an eye out for all the announcements coming real soon. But during our interview with Royals, the band gave us an early listen of their brand new pop punk cover of the Kid Laroi and Justin Bieber's song Stay, which is out now on all audio streaming services, so you're in for a treat. Let's check out the clip now. We're kind of speaking to the future. That's what we're doing right now. But we appreciate you guys letting us get a little early inside scoop into a brand new cover song that you guys just did. And this was kind of an interesting song that you guys chose, because I know that in your guys' band's portfolio, this is not the first time you guys have explored doing cover tracks. And why did you guys feel it was important to do a pop rendition of Stay?
So I remember getting the message from Luke that's not started all this, but when it first came to his mind, but he messaged me like, have you heard this song? I was like, no, I haven't. And he was just like, do you even know like the Kid Laroi or whatever? And at the time I didn't. And we looked at the Spotify numbers together and I was like, what the hell? This song's crazy. Listen to it. And it was really good, but we were just listening to it like, I just want a bit more drums. I just want a bit. It's like, we should cover this. And then it just like, it was just a decision there that, we then just were like, right, let's get this out. Let's get it done like ASAP. And
that's what I like about it. I mean, as a cover, you're not a karaoke style of it. You actually made it the Royals. Like if I would have heard your song before Kid Laroi's, I actually would have thought Kid Laroi and Justin Bieber would have covered you guys. Because it really did make it your own.
No, I think that's a great point, Marissa. And I think it speaks volumes when Royals continue to do cover songs, because some of the greatest rock bands of all time, such as the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, Metallica, to name a few, during their early stage of their career, have all covered iconic tracks during their time. But why was it important for the band to cover this song? What about you, Alex? How did it speak to you? Were you now vibing with it? I mean, you were like, man, I grew up in the whole heavy rock scene. I mean, I guess I can put my twist to it.
No, honestly, like there's been times where I've listened to Justin Bieber stuff, but I think it's just, in terms of, it's like a few things it needs to fall into. One, it needs to be like a big song anyway, which it is, so that's already ticked off. Two, it needs to be catchy and good, because you got to think we're putting like a whole new array of instruments on it, so it does still need to be catchy if it's pop punk as well. I just think it's quite a transferable song. You could probably make it jazz and it would still be good. It's like it's just catchy the way it is. So
I've seen that going around on TikTok. People are playing this song and just going, what the hell? It goes with anything.
Yeah, like a saxophone player, and you're like, how's it just killing it?
Yeah.
The world of TikTok, right? But hey, Tom, I mean, do you think it's important for these up and coming artists today to embrace doing more cover songs?
I think so. And I think if you do it in the right way, with the right manner, with the idea behind it, then they're really beneficial for you, because, you'll get listeners who have heard the original song and then they discover your song by searching for it again, maybe. Or maybe it's just someone like us who listened to it and was like, oh, this would be really good if it was rock. Let's see if one exists. And that's where smaller band can benefit from it, because you put it out there. People are like, oh, I wonder if it does exist. And then they're searching for something cover. You're going to come up. If you want to play them live, then, you've got a chance that people might know the words if they don't know you, and they might be like, oh, that was that band that did that. I wonder if they've got their own stuff. So I think it's good to do them. You don't want to fall into a category of being a covers band by doing them constantly. And I think it's important that you continue to put most of your energy in your own music, but I think they can be really beneficial and a lot of fun if you do them right. So
absolutely. You know what this sounds like? This should be the opening track to like Pop Goes Punk. You remember those iconic records they used to drop like a decade ago? And like every kid would like race to Warped Tour, like wanting to know those tracks because they know their favorite artist is about to play it on the main stage. You're like, come on. But we all know Alex was probably wanting to cover Baby by Justin Bieber. It's okay. You know, at least it's okay.
I did say to Luke, why not that one?
Yeah, why not Baby? But hey, at least there's some middle ground when it comes to Royals. That always cracks me up every time. And again, Marissa and I can't contain our excitement enough for this. So off the fret, more music talk. The episode will be dropping on Thanksgiving week. So you better be following our social media handles to be able to know what's good. But hey, stick around. There's more left on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show. This is what's good because there's so much negativity on channels 2 through 11. So Marissa and I, we like to lighten the mood because guess what? It's Friday. It's the weekend. So let's get right on into it. When coronavirus lockdowns forced businesses to shutter and pushed millions from their jobs earlier this year, Francesca Chia had her work cut out. I mean, it's incredible what she's done because within days of Malaysia introducing movement restrictions in mid-March, mirroring much of the rest of the world, the 32-year-old co-founder and CEO of GoGet created an on-demand work platform that connects businesses and consumers with verified gig workers for flexible tasks like deliveries, catering, and admin. So if you feel like the only route that you have is like, I know Marissa would know a majority of these things more than myself, but like Uber Eats, Postmates, and all that kind of fun jazz, there are different outlets that you can look out for because under the pandemic, the 6-year-old company has proved essential for its almost 300,000 independent users and 5,000 business partners who include multinationals like IKEA and L'Oreal. And, you know, for anybody that doesn't necessarily understand what a gig worker is, they are independent contractors or freelancers who typically do short-term work for multiple clients. And recently, you know, the gig economy has turned into digital platforms to connect the freelancers with customers to provide those short-term services or asset sharing. So if you're interested in GoGet, the platform offers work across 2 buckets. 1, business, which focuses on logistics, sales, and marketing, and 2, home and life, which is tailored towards individual users who need help in ad hoc tasks such as pet care, household chores, shopping, and event planning. So don't go broke for the holidays. Find a job. I think this is an amazing, amazing thing that Francesca is doing.
Yeah, kudos to her. I mean, look, she took, you know, this pandemic and flipped it entrepreneurial style and really made a need and found that need that everybody needs.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, well, I get what you're saying, Marissa. I think it's like, you know, we kind of get exhausted using the same job search websites, right? Oh, we go on Indeed.com. I keep getting neglected. I keep getting rejected and etc. Well, this is a platform based around a millennial audience. So like if you can't find that dream job, GoGet might be the place for you. You might be able to have that short-term experience that might lead you into the next life. Who knows? You know, keep your options open. And that's really what I want to encourage for the millennial and listening audience. Everybody, you know, we don't discriminate. Okay, come on now. We don't discriminate. But hey, we want to give one last shout out to our amazing guest on Just Talking, which is Ben Vescio, who is the actor in See You Next Christmas is a millennial. Vescio? What the hell did I say? Velcro?
I don't know, but the beginning of the show, you were okay. It was right now. I was like,
it's the double V's. Ben Vescio. Ben Vescio. Well, it's an amazing millennial rom-com. You know, get ready for the holidays. It's See You Next Christmas. It's out now on all digital platforms. And also, don't forget, we have an upcoming Off the Fret Music Talk podcast that's coming out real soon during the Thanksgiving week. But if you can't wait and you're just itching to have an idea about what Off the Fret's all about, we got the inaugural guest, the Blowies, that join us, and it's such a kick-ass episode. And you already know the drill.
And who is next week's guest?
Yeah, we're excited for this one because our Strike a Chord guest is Avenues. They are a punk rock band from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, to talk about their upcoming LP, We're All Doomed, releasing on November 19th. That is the day of the live show. So we're literally having an interview on the day of the album release. It's one big party. Come and join us. And also, if you want to join the Chris Collins Show Millennial Talk Show, go to our website and become a member today and get that free CCS t-shirt for now. Enjoy this amazing Friday that we call life. And I'll see you next week, fam. Peace. The Chris Collins Show presents Music Storm 2021, hosted by Chris Collins and Marissa Pitts, featuring Tiana Kutcher, Some Daggers Wear Red, Desmond Walker, Doulos, Saturn Till June, YT Will,
it feels good to be the bad guy. Walk these shoes, you'll see why. Look at things from both sides, ain't nothing like the
EC Main,
one thug, Lord, show a little mercy on one thug.
The Phoenix Within, Chloe Wilder, Jonas and I, Kane, and Animal Sun.
So tell me how you see reasons to carry on.
Music Storm 2021, available on YouTube Live. Peace. Our brand new podcast, Off the Fret.
I love it. It's more time to chat. Hello.
You would look so
Can you hear me?
jazzy. I love your outfit. How far would you go to start playing live music again? This slaps harder than my ex when she got her stimulus check. So, are you here to bring the sexual healing with your music? Everything is everything, and I guarantee you're gonna hear this song in the future. I love the flow, man. Politically charged album. So, if you get easily offended, this might not be the album for you. Brand new podcast, Off the Fret.
So excited.
Has Kim Kardashian accidentally sent you a coochie shot?
Do you want to stay there? It's completely your choice. Or you want to...
I feel you. And you know what I love? Off the Fret. More music talk. Peace.